Lloyd Meeker is a gay novelist, a nice guy, and I've never met him in person, but we correspond a little bit. And Kip and I, have worked together with Lloyd A Press in the publishing business. And for a while, Lloyd and his partner were running a distributing company for gay genre. So, and he's a writing teacher, so an interesting man and pretty. Can you see the picture, everybody? Not that that's how we should judge people, but don't we? So he has some articles on the internet about the gay hero journey. In a fictional man, a young man he names Harold, he tells this story. Well, the story goes on for several articles. I'm going to just very quickly summarize it, but you can hear how this is another version of the hero journey. It's Harold discovering his homosexual feelings, struggling with, then understanding them, falling in love, losing love, finding a counselor, coming out, being rejected, being bullied and humiliated, leaving home, learning about gay life and gay culture, experimenting with sex, drinking too much and getting into trouble, being rescued by a drag queen who shows him the way through the gay world, rejecting temptations to use sex for drugs and money, taking responsibility for his own life, buckling down and building a life, volunteering in a gay community organization, finding true love, reconciling with his parents and receiving their blessings on his relationship, and becoming a psychologist and guide himself. The hero journey. The boon is being a gay counselor and helping other gay people through this. Lloyd's is a delightful presentation of these stages with witty twists on the age-old mythological themes, like the goddess in the myth being this worldly wise drag queen with a heart of gold who shows him the ropes. It's also a very familiar and believable story. This is the coming out journey that is what all gay men, maybe with some variations based on culture and race and particular time in history, but it's what we all, lesbians, bisexuals, trans people, and queers, all go through on some level or another. He says, one night Harold is reading something by Joseph Conrad. Facing it, always facing it. That's the way to get through it. Face it. That's sort of the basic hero test, the hero ordeal of the gay discovery. You've got to face this and accept it. Every human being, of course, goes through the hero cycle of their whole life, and the many, many cycles that go on in each and virtually every phase of life. Every adventure, every episode in our life follows this pattern. It's not unique to us that we would go through this, but we have our way of going through it. Meeker observes that there are essential differences in the gay hero's journey, and specifically notes that the separation from the world and the call to adventure comes from within rather than from outside. Traditionally, the hero gets called by something outside him or herself. A letter arrives in the mail, or he or she is drafted, or an inheritance is bestowed, or a mysterious event happens that must be investigated. But the gay hero starts with a restlessness within, and the restlessness is at the level of sex, love, and romance. It is felt in the body as the self. The restlessness may be with his or her own body. There is something wrong with me. He discovers he is living in a world in which he does not quite fit, even, or maybe especially, in his own family. He or she may feel self-conscious, worried about what other people think. Meeker says the gay man's great wound is not belonging. And in order to belong to something, he must go out to find it. So the gay hero journey is going out to find what it is to be gay, because you feel something is going on in you that you don't understand. His role models and heroes are not provided by society, culture, religion, and family. The great accomplishments of homosexuals are mostly hidden. The guides and way showers won't come to him, he must find them. This is why homosexuals rightly relish discovering the real histories of people like Alexander the Great, Michelangelo, Isaac Newton, Abraham Lincoln, or Greta Garbo, Marlene Dietrich, and Cary Grant and Randolph Scott. For Gay History Week some years ago, this was their, it's back up again. This is Gay History Month now going on, and on the internet, and every so often I see this picture come up again. There are lots of us in the past.
Meeker also notes that the gay hero understands the familiar world from a perspective that is ideally equipped to bring outside-the-box thinking for change, insight, compassion, and creativity.
But it takes courage to do it. Such a gay hero most likely goes through an experience of being a shapeshifter. This is not generally a quality of the traditional hero, though it may be a special power. Indeed, part of being the male hero was boldly being who you are, the young straight man come to accomplish his mission, the warrior, the dragon slayer. The gay hero, on the other hand, that is most of us gay men, as we have figured out how to live this life, learn to pretend and be something he is not. He learns to pass. He can keep secrets. This skill gives perspective. You learn how to perform and to know you are doing it and to be able to control it. Of course, you have to keep knowing that you are doing it and control it and not be controlled by it, which is what the danger of passing is. This is a double-edged sword, he says, and the gay protagonist, that is, the gay person living the right path, must find an internally congruent, authentic way to belong when he or she returns. So we have to be able to live in both worlds. Interesting these days now, the gay side of this world is kind of vanishing, and the gay people are learning to live in the straight world and blend right in. We have yet to see what the long-term consequences of that are going to be. For now, it makes it very difficult to do gay organizing because there aren't young people behind us. Well, so this lovely, long, and winding road brings you back home, ultimately. He has an article called Letter to a New Generation of Gatekeepers, addressed to a young generation that perhaps has had an easier time coming out as gay or queer, but still have a hero task of learning to make being gay a positive and contributing talent. I think one of the problems with fitting in as easily as they have it now is that there isn't the obstacle course to overcome to make this something special, which you have to figure out, because they learned early on what it was to be gay. But I'm not complaining about the youth. They have a wonderful world. It's going to be different from ours. Well, this is what gay spirituality is about, recognizing how the natural traits and talents that go with being an outsider, at least in the sense of being a member of a minority, and with being freer about sex and gender roles, can be recognized as spiritual gifts and spiritual practices. Meeker recounts a little of his own life and hero journey to be the modern gay man that he is now. In that process, he reports of the African Dagara people's notion that homosexuals and gender-variant people were gatekeepers who had an essential function in the life of the tribe, of maintaining the living connection between the earth and the spirit world. Meeker proposes a series of virtues gay people ought to learn. In this sense, this third article completes the hero cycle by elucidating the boons the hero returns with. Meeker's advice is, learn to listen to other people, cultivate a sense of wonder, be delighted, be open, practice kindness and friendship. This has nothing to do with being homosexual on the sexual level, but isn't this sort of what gay life is, in this sense of this oneness that we feel, the connection that we feel with other gay men, the sense of community? And these would be the virtues of how to be part of that community. Meeker says you are gay for a reason. The universe has entrusted you with stewardship of a certain kind of spiritual consciousness and power.